Hello my dear friends, welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial I'm gonna teach you how to make a file upload with the PHP. This file upload doesn't include database connection. This is just a normal file upload where you can select a file and upload it from your computer to the server. Let's see how it works. This is my form and I can select any image. For example, I want to select this one, and this is my inside my server, and it should come here inside my attachment folders. So whenever I click upload, file has been uploaded and there is a preview of that image, and if I check my server, the file has been uploaded. So now you have an idea what you're gonna build. So now let's create a folder and start building this project. I go to my project folders, let's create file upload. Open the Visual Studio Code and drag and drop your folder inside it. Once we are inside our Visual Studio Code, we go back to my project folder. There it is. Okay, the first thing I have to do is to create a folder. I call it attachments. You can call it whatever you like. This is where my uploaded files goes inside this folder. Okay, and the second thing I'm gonna do is to make a new file, and I call it upload.php. And once I have created this file, I'm gonna start building this file upload. But first of all, I need to create a form. We don't have anything. Before making any functionality, first let's create the form. So I make the basic HTML5 structure. I call it file upload, and then I import the Bootstrap library. If you don't know what is Bootstrap, make sure to watch my other tutorials. I teach the Bootstrap. So whenever you import the Bootstrap, you have to make a div with a class of container, and I want this one to take all over the page, so I make it container fluid, and inside this one, and I also want to give it some padding, so P5 for 5 padding. And inside this container, now we have to make another div with a class of row, and inside this row we make another div with a class of column, and everything will be inside this column. So now I want to create a form. I give my form a method. The method should be post, and I give my form a class, an action. You can call it action upload.php, but if you put it empty, it will run this upload.php by itself. And there's one important thing in here. Whenever you want to make a form for file upload, you have to use encrypt. Okay, so I type enc for encryption type. You have to define the encryption type for this form. So for uploading the file, you can use form data, and I want my form to multi-part form data. Yeah, you just need to put this one as I think type to be able to upload the file. If you don't do that, it will not work. Okay, and I close my form. Inside my form, the first thing I'm gonna do is to create a section to select the photo. So to do that, I use a Bootstrap class called mb3. This gives a tree margin at the bottom, and inside this div, I make a label. Okay, sorry. Inside this div, I make a label, and I say it is for image, and this also has a class form label, and inside this label I say select photo. select photo, and I close my label. After the label, I have to make an input for the file. So how you can do that? I say input type, the type is file, and I give it a name, and this is an image, and then I give it a class, and this class is called form control. You can get this information if you go to Google and search for Bootstrap 5 form. Okay, so I am not connected to the internet. And now if I search, okay, internet not works really great. Let's come back. If you search for Bootstrap 5 form, you will get these things. There is every information about it. Okay, the class is form control, and I also say which files I want to accept. So you just type accept, and I want only to be able to select image. So, and when you make something like this, it will only select image files. And I also say this should be required. This should be required. I have to select this one. Okay, once we have done that, I make another div to, okay, let's see how it looks. No file chosen, select a photo. Okay, that works. And there is what I said. If you go to forms, there you can choose examples. Okay, if you want something for like this, you just need to copy this one and paste and use like that. That makes your life much easier. Okay, I make another div with the class of form text. This is the text for my form, and I say please select image, and that's it. And after this I need to create a button, so I make an input called submit, and I give it a class btn primary. These classes are from the Bootstrap. Okay, and I give it a name. The name is important because we use it later to submit the form, and I also give it a value upload. And that's it. Let's see how it looks. And there it is. Let's give it a title also. So before my form, I make a h1 tag, h1 with the class of h3, and I say let's give it some margin at the bottom, and I say file upload. Now let's save and see, and there is my form. My form is completed. I can select an image and I can submit, but it doesn't do anything at the moment because it don't have any functionality. Okay, our form is completed. Now it's time to but before making the functionality, there, if you remember, there was a display of the image. So before uploading anything, I want to display a default image. So I go to Google and search for a default image, or there I have a default image. You can use that one. There I have a default image. Just put the default image inside your directory. This is my default image. I want to use this image when nothing is uploaded yet. So after the form, I make an image tag. I make image, and I give it a class of what is the class? Okay, I make it rounded, and I also wanna give it some margin, 2 pixel margin, and I wanna make it right to left auto, and I want it to be deblock. These are the class from Bootstrap. You shouldn't be worried about it. Let's give it some width. The width should be 250 pixel, and I give it some height also, and this should be also 215 pixel. Okay, the important part is the source. The source of my image is default.jpg, and if I refresh, there's my image. But I want to change this one. I want to cut that one. I open my PHP tag and I make a variable. I call my variable the default image, and this is equal to this image name, the default.jpg, and I use this name in here with a PHP. You just need to open the PHP tag and echo that name. Now it works the same as before. Okay, it's time to make the functionality. So first I check if the button is pressed, this button, the upload button. How you can check that one? I use if set $post, which means if the upload button is pressed or posted, what I want to do. First of all, I make an error message, and I set it to empty. And then I also make an error and I set it to 0. This is the message. If the file is uploaded, it will say it's uploaded. If there's a problem, we change this error message to something else. But we have to display that message inside my form. So how we can do that? It's actually really easy. Inside my form, maybe before the form, I create a PHP file, a PHP tag. I open the PHP tag and I say if is set. What is set? The error message. If the error message has something inside it, you should do this. And what should you do? I want to echo something. Inside the bootstrap, we have this. I want to print an alert. This is also from bootstrap. Okay, if you search bootstrap alert and you get this code, I want to print an alert, and inside the alert message I want to print this error message. That easy. And it will not be displayed at right now because we not set the error message anything, so it is hidden. But whenever we set the error message to something, for example like this, now okay, we didn't set it from here, we set it by the PHP. Okay, whenever it changes, the message will be displayed. Okay, enough talking, let's continue making the upload. Okay, now I want to check if the file is empty or not. This select it. When I press upload, it must first check if it's empty or not. So how we can do that? First we say if not empty, what's not empty? The file itself. So what is the file? I make the file first. I make a variable called file, and this is equal to how we can get the file information. So I say $files. This will get information from the file. From which file? My file name, and the name of my file is image. And I said put it here, and from this one I want to get the temporary name. So it's called tmp name, and it will be stored inside this $file, and I just copy and paste it here. Okay, if my file is not empty, you can continue. Okay, now it's time to extract file information. We have the file itself, and now it's time to get the file name. So I make a variable, I call it file name, and this is equal to path info, and inside this path info I say $file from my file, which is called image. If you remember, the image is the file name, and from this image I want to get its name. And just like before, we got the temporary name, now we can get the name just like that, and it will be stored inside this variable called file name. Now we have the name of the file, but we also want to get the extension of this file, so I make another variable called file extension, and this is equal to from this file name I can only get the extension. So just like that, say extension. I have the fully file name, and I also got the file extension, but I also need the file size. So I make another variable, I say file size, and this is equal to file, which file? The image, and from this image, as you guessed, size. I get the size, and I store it inside this file size variable. Okay, and what else I need? The other thing I need is I have the file name, but if you upload one image again and again, it will replace that image, and I don't want that. I want to make anytime it generates a random name for my file, so I make a variable called new file name, and this is equal to my file name. From this file name, I want to get its file name, and I can just type file name. I get the file name, and once I got that one, I want to attach something like this to the name, and I also want to generate a random number. I can use rand, but something easier, I can use time. The current time is a long number, and it generates every time a different number, so this is a good thing to use. And then I say dot, this is only the file name without the extension. This file, if you ask why I didn't use this file name, because this is the complete file name, image.jpg or png. I don't want the extension, I only want the file name, so that's why I use file, and from the file name I get this file name. It only gives the file name, and now I attach the extension to it. And if you remember, I already extract the extension, so I use this variable, and now I have the complete file, the file name itself without the extension, and I attach this with the time, and at the end I attach the extension. Okay, and now I want to make another variable, and I say file and location. Now I have to say where my file should be uploaded. There I have a folder called attachment, so I use that folder name, attachments, and put a slash in here. You can make two variables, but I want to do it both in one variable, file and location, because we later use it on the file move upload. Okay, and with this one I want to use the new file name, this one, and just like that we have the file and location inside this variable. Once we have done that, now it's time to put some extension we want to allow. We don't want this one to upload a PHP file or a shell or a zip file or whatever. I only want the user should be able to upload only few extensions. So I make a file, another variable. This is, let me make a comment, allowed extensions, and I make a variable, I call it allowed extensions, and this is equal to, I make an array of things. So here you can put the name of which formats you want to allow the user to upload. So I want to allow the JPEG, I want to allow the JPG, I want to allow the PNG, and there's a new file format which is called GIF, and that's enough. Those are the images I want to allow. Maybe I should allow GIF. Okay, that's enough. If you add more extensions, you can allow more things in here. Okay, that's enough. Now it is time for the checking. First of all, I want to check the size, because I don't want the user to upload a very big file to consume all of my host size. I don't want to do this, so I say if I already got the file size from here. I got the file size, so I just copy that one, and I say if the file size is bigger than, and here I use byte. So to understand how many megabyte you can use, just Google byte to MB converter. So I want the user to be able to upload a 2 megapixel and 2 megapixels equal to this much amount of byte. I just put that amount in here, and then if the file is bigger than 2 megapixel, I want to change the error message, and I say file is over 2 MB in size, and something like that. BR to put in a space. And this error is 0 at the moment, but if there's a problem, I want to change the error to 1. So I change the error to 1. It means there's an error. We shouldn't process the form. Okay, I check the size. Now it's time to check the extension to see if the user selected any of these extensions or not. How you can do that? Checked allowed extensions. First of all, I want to say if my extension is inside this array. How you can do that? I say if not, and there's a function called array. If not an array, and it has two things. It gets two options, and the first argument is the file extensions. The file I want to upload the extension, which is this one, and then it will compare it to allowed extensions, which is this one. So what it does, it checks if my file extension is inside this array or not. If it is not inside the array, which means I selected the wrong file type. So if that is the case, I want to change the error message to something like file type is not allowed. Okay, that's it. I also want to change the error to 1, which means there is something wrong. Okay, now what I want to do is to see if everything is okay. We should process to upload the file. So if everything is okay, we upload the file. So we check if this error is not equal to 1. If this error is not to 1, which means everything is okay, what I want to do, I want to upload my file. So to upload the file, there's a function inside my PHP called move uploaded file, this function, and this function has two arguments. The first one is the file name, the file itself, not the name of the file, but sorry, the file itself, the temp name of the file, which is this one, the temp name. Okay, the temporary location of the file. So I select that one and put it inside this function, and after that the second argument is the file name and location. So you have to attach both in one. That's why we made this variable called file and location, because otherwise you have to do that in here like this. But because I did it inside this variable, I can just copy this variable name and paste it in here. It will move my file from my computer to the server. I also want to print a message, and I say file has been uploaded, and that's it. But if you remember, inside my form I have this default image. I want to change that one to the new image, the image I uploaded. So I copy the default image name and I equal this one to change it to what? The file and location, because in this variable we have both the file location, which is the attachment folder, and the file name itself. Otherwise I have to use this one. So I equal default image to this one. And the other thing is I have to check if there is any error, if the upload not done, if there is any problem with the uploading. I want to change the error message. I say something is wrong. If any case there is it not uploaded, then it prints this message. Let's save and refresh my page. Now let's select the file, for example this eagle. Let's see my attachment folder. There is nothing inside it, but whenever I click upload, it must print the message file has been uploaded, and this is the preview of that image. and inside my folder I have my image. Let's upload another file, example this one, and click upload. The file is uploaded. If I upload this image once again, it not replace it, but it creates another name for it. That's why we generated a new name for my file. So that's it, my dear friends. We have successfully created a file upload with a PHP. In my last tutorial I made a file upload with Node.js, and this time I made the file upload with the PHP. But in next tutorial we will continue this file upload, and I make a file upload to upload the file information to the database. And if you watch my last tutorial, which I created a login, registration, and user form, I used that login that system to create a file, to create a upload form where user can select an image and update its profile picture. So that's it for this tutorial, my dear friends. If you have any question, let me know in the comment below. If you like this video, make sure to share it with your friends, press the like button, subscribe, and that's it. Have a great time, my dear friends.